Hello, I'm Kathy Steligo, author of the Breast Reconstruction Guidebook. In this session is 5 questions about breast reconstruction. And for this session, I have no disclosures. So, breast reconstruction, if you're facing mastectomy, you may have strong feelings one way or the other about breast reconstruction, whether you feel that you definitely want to have it, you don't know if you want to have it, or you feel strongly that you do not want to have it. You may want to, you may know already that you want to go flat. That is, you do not want reconstruction after your mastectomy and your chest would be flat. You could then choose to wear a prosthesis under your clothes if you chose to, or to go flat altogether. Or you might choose a breast reconstruction procedure that best matches your priorities in terms of, do you want to go through another surgery? Do you want to go through another recovery? What do those surgeries and recoveries involve? And what you want from your breast reconstruction. It can be very confusing. You might be undecided. You might be totally unaware of some of the options that are available to you for reconstruction. I mean, most people know now that breast reconstruction can be performed with breast implants. Many people know that it can also be done, breast can be recreated with your own tissue, your own fat. And there are many, many ways within those two procedures or those two surgeries that are available as well. For example, implants can be done in different ways, and tissue flaps can be done in a variety of different ways. So you may know about some of these options, but some you may not. So there's no right or wrong answer to the question, should I have breast reconstruction? You may have friends or family who have or haven't had reconstruction and maybe weigh in with their opinion. But ultimately, it comes down to a very, very personal decision that can only be made by you. And there are many people who can help you. The plastic surgeon definitely can weigh in and should be a partner with your decision, whether you have reconstruction or not. But ultimately, the decision is yours. So the most important thing I can tell you about breast reconstruction, considering it, is it's so important to research all of your options. As I said, there are many, many ways to do breast reconstruction. We're living in an age now where the methods and the procedures are numerous to have breast recreated. The days of just having it done with just implants or just one type of surgery are long gone. And it's really incredible how many ways breast reconstruction can be done. You may find procedures, as I said, that you were totally unaware of. They may appeal to you, they may not. You may find that after you research all of your options, you may realize that you really don't want to have another surgery or recovery. Maybe you don't want to take any more time off work or away from your children. On the other hand, you may find that there are options that you didn't know anything about, and it's a method that appeals to you. If you decide that you don't want to have breast reconstruction immediately, that is immediately after your mastectomy, then delayed reconstruction is always an option in the future. If you don't have reconstruction with your mastectomy, you can always have it if you choose to do so a month later, a year later, years later. So the next question is, which procedure is best for you? Again, there are so many ways that breast reconstruction can be done. And one of the responsibilities that comes with considering breast reconstruction is making a decision on which of those procedures, if any, appeals to you and is best for you. So you probably know that breast reconstruction can be accomplished with breast implants. These are man-made devices. They're filled with silicone or saline. Most implants these days used are silicone. It's the quickest way to have breast reconstruction. The surgery and the recovery tend to be shorter than doing reconstruction with your own tissue. Breast implants have inherent issues. They can leak, they can rupture. There is a capsule of scar tissue that naturally forms around the implant. The body forms this capsule of scar tissue around any foreign body in the placed in the body. And sometimes over time, that scar tissue will tighten, contract, and that can cause problems with the implant. It can become distorted. It can become painful. Sometimes women have this capsular contracture and they don't even know it. So it's not always a situation where the implant might have to be removed or replaced. But the FDA has stated that the longer women have breast implants, the more likely it is that they will need another operation or replacement. They don't last a lifetime. Newer implants are said to last 10 to 20 years. Some women need to have their implants replaced much sooner than that. Some women don't have their implants replaced. So just know that if you're considering that, understand that that is a possibility with breast implants. The other option is to do breast reconstruction with your own tissue. So this is obviously more natural because it's your own tissue, which is removed from a donor site. This could be your tummy fat, fat from your inner thighs, your hips, your buttocks, can be removed, shaped into a breast, moved up to the chest. And that does involve having another operation at the donor site as well as the chest, another place that's scarred. This is obviously a longer, more involved surgery, and the recovery tends to be more involved and more intense, really, than breast reconstruction with breast implants. And the third option is to have autologous flaps or natural tissue flaps combined with an implant. And sometimes that's done. So within both of these methods, implants and autologous flaps, there are traditional and improved procedures. Some surgeons do only traditional procedures, and some do advanced, newer procedures. So when you talk to plastic surgeons, it's important to get more than one opinion. So, because not all surgeons do all procedures. So, for example, when breast implants, traditionally they are done with tissue expanders that are placed behind the muscle and gradually inflated with saline. These are temporary implants. As they inflate, they stretch the muscle and the skin, and this makes a pocket in which the actual implant that you want is placed after several weeks. Newer, improved procedures called direct to implant eliminate the whole expansion process, and it's done in one step. Not everyone is a candidate for this, but most women are, especially women who have preventative mastectomies. But it does require a nipple sparing mastectomy, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. That is that you keep your nipples. So excuse me, be aware that there are more than one way to do breast reconstruction, and not all surgeons do all ways. But some options might be unavailable to you. Depending where you are geographically, you will be limited to what your local surgeons perform. If you live near a university or a teaching hospital or a large medical center or a large cancer center or breast cancer center, those facilities are more likely to have a wide variety of these options, especially the newer options, than private practices in some geographical areas, maybe where there aren't a lot of plastic surgeons. Some of the options may be available, but they may not appeal to you. You might not prefer an option or a surgery that's longer than you'd like, or a recovery that's longer than you like. So you can choose among them. And you may not be a candidate for all options. For example, the most popular autologous tissue breast reconstruction uses excess fat from the tummy, from the abdomen. And some women who are very slim may not have enough tissue there. So you may not be a candidate for that particular procedure, but you may be a candidate for a different procedure using tissue from another area inside of your thigh or your buttocks, or combining tissue from different areas. So many, many different ways that breast reconstruction can be done. So it's very important before you make a decision to understand all of your options, and then to weigh the benefits and the limitations of each of these options before you make your decision. You decide what's important to you and what you want to get out of reconstruction. Generally, cosmetically, most of these options will give you pretty much the same result. That's pretty much up to your surgeon's skill as well. But it's the surgery itself, the recovery, the long-term implications, the potential for problems after you heal. All of these things are things that you should consider and should go into making your decision. It's always best to make an informed decision rather than an uninformed decision. So what if the procedure you want isn't available locally? So a lot of women now are traveling for their breast reconstruction. This may seem odd if you've never heard about this or you don't know someone who's done it, but more and more women are traveling to other cities or other states for a reconstruction procedure that they can't get locally because it's not provided by their local surgeons. So if you have an HMO and you are required to go in-network to an in-network hospital, an in-network surgeon, that will be an issue. You need to always contact your health insurance provider and find out what is covered if you'd like to travel and whether that would be covered or not. If you choose a distant plastic surgeon's office, someone in another city or another state, they generally have managers in their office who are very well experienced helping patients coordinate how to travel, when to travel, how long you would need to be away from home, where you would stay, that type of thing. Generally, they will also interface, their billing manager will interface with your insurance carrier to get any questions answered and hopefully get coverage and provide information for you. So one of the biggest advancements in breast reconstruction has been allowing women to keep their nipples. Generally, traditionally, when breast reconstruction has been done, there was a fear that if you had breast cancer, that the cancer could spread to the nipple and the areola. So the nipple and the areola, that is the pigmented area around the nipple, were traditionally always removed. And now, though, we have 20 plus years of data showing that for the right candidates, nipple-sparing mastectomy doesn't affect cancer recurrence. And who's a candidate? So most women who have mastectomy are, in fact, candidates for nipple-sparing mastectomy. Definitely, if you are having preventative mastectomy because you're predisposed by a genetic mutation, you are a candidate for nipple-sparing mastectomy, unless during the surgery, the cells at the base of the nipple are always sent to pathology while you're still asleep on the operating table, and they are examined. And if the cells are clear of any cancer cells, then the nipple can be preserved. If cancer cells are found, the nipple is removed. So for some reason, if you were having a preventative mastectomy and cancer cells were in fact found at the base of your nipple or in your skin around the nipple during surgery, then the nipple would not be preserved. If you're considering nipple-sparing mastectomy, and there are a few things to think about while you make that decision, it's really important to choose a breast surgeon who routinely does nipple-sparing mastectomy. So not all breast surgeons or breast oncologists do nipple sparing mastectomy. It's a different procedure. All of the breast tissue is still removed, but it's important to preserve the delicate blood vessels that feed the nipple if the nipple is to survive. So if you choose nipple sparing mastectomy, be sure to check the experience of your breast surgeon in doing that procedure, how often they do it. So some women are surprised to find that after nipple sparing mastectomy, their nipples are really not the same as they are before mastectomy. Very often preserved nipples. Now, you only preserve nipples if you're going to have breast reconstruction. If you're going flat, your nipples will be removed. So, but your preserved nipples on your reconstructed breast may be flat. There are ways to get around this. Your plastic surgeon can insert surgical materials or a tiny piece of rib to fill that nipple so it won't be flat. But that's something you should know going in, and that's definitely something you should talk to your plastic surgeon about. Sensation and reaction response in the nipple may be and will likely be very, very different than it is before your mastectomy. Women have varying degrees of sensation and reaction in nipples that are preserved or mastectomy. So the best thing to do is know that up front, talk to your plastic surgeon about what you can expect. Another bonus of keeping your nipples is that it gives better projection on the reconstructed breast. When the nipple is removed during mastectomy, it automatically cuts off and flattens the tip of the breast. That is not something that breast reconstruction can restore. When the nipple is preserved, the entire breast envelope, the skin and the nipple, are kept, and the breast tissue is replaced with implants of your own tissue. So that entire natural conical shape of the breast is also preserved. So one of the most important questions that women have on their mind about reconstruction is, will there be any feeling in a reconstructed breast? Mastectomy is what removes sensation in the breast when nerves are severed. What can reconstruction do about that? In the past, up until recently, efforts to restore sensation have been not very successful. Today, there are other things being tried. These efforts are controversial, mainly because they have not yet been proven to restore sensation in a way that is predictable and reliable. So knowing that nerves regenerate on their own, the question is there a way surgeons can improve sensation? Can they speed up the sensation that's restored in a reconstructed breast? And can they improve the type of sensation that a woman feels? So we don't really know the answers to this yet, but some surgeons are in fact taking measures to restore sensation. And this can be done in three ways. One is the nerves that are severed in the breast can be reconnected to nerves in the flap of tissue in the reconstructed breast. Years ago, it wasn't very successful. It's a tedious process. It requires special skills to reconnect these nerves by a plastic surgeon, and generally this isn't really done very often. Nerve grafts are now being tried, and this is nerve grafts and nerve conduits. So nerve graft is a piece of donor nerve that is added to the cut ends of two nerves in the hopes that they will then provide more sensation. A nerve conduit is a little bit different. It's also donated material that connects two ends of a cut nerve. So it doesn't provide sensation, but the idea is that it will encourage two cut ends to meet more quickly and provide sensation. To use a sort of a poor analogy, it's sort of similar if you have a hose and one end has a leak in it and you cut both ends and then you put a conduit in the middle of those cut ends to bridge that. So the real question is, do these methods improve sensation that would otherwise develop on its own? The honest answer is, even though several surgeons are using these methods now, the honest answer is we really don't know. We really don't have objective trials that have measured the predictability and the reliability of these methods. There is a clinical trial ongoing now. Hopefully, we will have some initial results on this in a couple of years, and there will surely be more clinical trials of this to come. So the last question we have, it's a bonus question. How do you choose a plastic surgeon? The most important thing that you can do if you are having breast reconstruction is choose the right surgeon. A surgeon makes all the difference in your results and your experience. So the first thing you want to do is anyone you choose or you are considering, make sure that that plastic surgeon is certified by the American Board of Plastic Surgery. You can hop online and check out your surgeon by name. And surgeons who do not require certification by this board, but if they are certified, they go through fairly rigorous testing. They have to have a certain number of years of practice, and they have to recertify. So if you have a surgeon who has certification by the ABPS, then that's the first step in choosing a surgeon. There are lots of ways to find a surgeon. Generally, oncologists, if you have been diagnosed with breast cancer, will recommend or give you the names of plastic surgeons in your area. If you're having preventive surgery, lots of people get input from friends or family who have had breast reconstruction. If you want to hop on Force on the website, there are lots of discussions about this on the message boards, and Force has an online surgeon referral tool that will help you find a plastic surgeon in your area. It's so important to get a second opinion. As I said earlier, not all surgeons do all procedures. So it's important to talk to a surgeon. If a surgeon tells you you're not a candidate for one procedure, but he doesn't do that procedure, then you can see why it's important to talk to someone who does. It's even better to get a third opinion. When choosing a surgeon, experience is so important. And there's a way to research a surgeon's experience. Most surgeons now have websites and they have photos of their results. Okay, realize that those results that are online give you an idea of what's possible with that surgeon, but they're probably really only going to be the best results. They're probably not going to be the not as good results. So ask surgeons that you consult with to see their not so good results. Talk to other people. And as you consult with surgeons, you want to consider not only their technical skills, their artistic skills as you look at photos of their work, but you also want someone who feels like a partner, who communicates well, who listens to you, who understands how you feel, and someone you have a rapport with, and most importantly, someone you trust. So these are all things that need to be thought about and considered as you decide whether you're going to have reconstruction or what type of reconstruction you're going to have. Like most decisions, it requires research and thoughtfulness. And the best thing you can do is to research and know what your options are, and then choose the one, if any, that best meets your priorities. Thanks for joining us today.